Okay, so let's get into it. We're going to be talking about part two about how this assassination plot on Trump does not make any sense. Let's get into it. Fair use.
And then the worst president in the history of our country took over. And look what happened to our country. Probably 20 million people. And you know, that's a little bit old, that chart. That chart's a couple of months old. And if you want to really see something that said, take a look at what happened.
First off, you guys are supposed to be out of the line of fire. You're supposed to be crawling, like trying to make sure you're not in the range of the sniper and try to move President Trump out of there. Right there, the sniper could have picked him right off. Pick off that Secret Serviceman right there. Right there on the left.
Moving his hair. Hold. When you're ready. On you. Ready. Move. Up. Move. Go. Up. Hawkeye's here. You ready?
Okay, we are watching live at a rally in Butler.
And then the thing is, like, they huddle around, and then Trump is like showing a fist of triumph. You got all that time when you're in the line of fire and someone just, shot at you? Tell me if that makes sense. Does that make sense at all? Here's another thing that doesn't make sense.
This shit, dude. Watch. Watch. She sits down. Yep. Watch this. Puts the sign up.
Take a look at what happened.
Shots go off.
She's completely normal. And then watch.
And then she's got her.
What the fuck? What the fuck? People are freaking out.
And she's filming.
And she's just like right there.
Don't you find that kind of suspicious too? She's not ducking for cover. She's coming out and filming this stuff. Let's watch it again.
This shit, dude. Watch. Watch. She sits down. Yep. Watch this. Puts the sign up.
Take a look at what happened.
Shots go off.
She's completely normal. And then watch.
And then she's got her.
What the fuck? What the fuck? People are freaking out.
And she's filming.
And she's just like right there. She's not even freaking the. Watch this shit.
Does that make any sense? Most people will be ducking for cover. Now, here's what this other guy has to say. He's a Desert Storm veteran.
Y'all, I hate to be the bearer of the bad news, but Donald Trump did not get shot, man. Donald Trump is lying. A bullet traveling that fast, that touches your ear, that ear is coming off. I've been shot before. The level of pain that you're going to be feeling, the burning sensation, you're going to be asking for some ice, not your shoes. And I honestly believe when they tackled him to the ground, they knocked his shoes off. That was a pretty hard.
You got to think about it. I mean, the bullet's coming from like 400 square feet away. You don't think that bullet carried some momentum and would have caused him some pain? He's just holding his ear like it's nothing. Someone even said that he's, he had some red pellets, when he put it, just to paint his ear red, to make it look like he was shot.
Hard tackle. You have to agree that was a pretty hard tackle. They knocked his shoes off. But the very fact that he came up with blood on his ear, where the bullet whizzed by his ear and he still had an ear, tells me that bullet did not touch him. Because he wasn't asking for ice. He was asking for his shoes. So, being that as it may, I'm just telling you, there's no way that man got shot. He might have thought he got shot, but they tackled him so hard and busted his head on the ground. But that bullet didn't do it because he wouldn't have an ear. That bullet would touch him. It would feel like his ear was touched by a branding iron. He pumping his fist. He don't have his hand over his ear. He looked like somebody that just fell down and got injured and got back up. He didn't act like somebody that got shot. That's too much pain. That burning sensation is too hot. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt bad. So I'm telling you now, for someone who's been hit before by that leg, ain't no way that leg touched his ear, and that ear is still on, as soft as it is, and he wasn't asking for ice. Man, Donald Trump did not get shot. Straight up.
This one is from a person that is also in the military. Looks like he's still active duty. Let's see what he has to say.
Military man myself, so I know a little bit about security. Let me explain something to you about this situation and just how curious it is. Okay? Curious is the word I'm going to use, maybe even interesting. These events are organized, they're structured, they're planned days in advance. There are no pop-up rallies. No. They are highly coordinated events between law enforcement and Secret Service agents. They'll get to the area, they'll scope it out on all the hot spots, whether the clear lines of sight, the perch positions. They'll never allow open windows or anything like that. They're not all this from the Kennedy days. That's why you don't have assassination attempts that often at rallies, ever really, because they learned a lot from the Kennedy days. And so what they'll do is they'll scope the area out. In fact, they'll look at all the hot spots. They'll look at all the perch positions, rooftops especially. They don't even like rooftops. But what's curious about this situation is the very position the shooter was in, they would have 2 or 3 agents in full battle rattle, security personnel up on that position. Yes, you heard me. The very position that shooter was on. That's very curious to me. Let's talk a little bit more about this shooter. This shooter had all the right conditions for them. Thank goodness they did not succeed. But let's just talk about the situation they were in. They had a perfect elevated position, clear line of sight. He had a tripod, a scope. He even had good weather. Folks, that don't happen. That don't just happen. Just like, when Tom Brady said he didn't know nothing about the footballs and Bill Belichick knew that they didn't know nothing about the footballs, the Patriots, that several years ago. Troy Aikman came on TV and said, as a star quarterback, NFL quarterback, Hall of Fame, he said that just doesn't happen, folks. That kind of thing just doesn't happen. Now there are videos of clear audio. I didn't say edited audio. I didn't say staged audio. I said this is clear audio at the time. And there are two things happening when they hurl him off the stage. One, Secret Service does something that's very curious. They pause and let him get his shoe. That wouldn't have happened, folks. No way, no how. They could care less about what articles of clothing you lose. They will slam you to the floor like a rag doll and then pile on top of you and drive you out of there in the lowest profile possible in 5 to 7 seconds. That's actually how they're trained to do it. And the second thing is they will never let you wait and pause for a photo and rear your head. That would never happen, folks. Never, never, never. So just think about that. Very, very curious. I'm not suggesting this, but some would suggest and have said that Trump is a master at changing media narratives, changing the subject, garnering the attention. In this case, loads and loads of sympathy from public officials and leaders around.
People think Trump is save America, that he is someone that people can rally around, and he's someone to help others. He's not. He's for himself. He's for the elite. Okay. Mainly, I could see for himself. And he will do whatever it takes to have people love him. He'll connive. He'll do whatever it takes. And one of these days, people are going to see him for what he is. A lot of people already see him for what he is. But when it's finally revealed, people are going to regret it. They're going to regret it. Here's what a British ex-Special Forces has to say as well.
Shot in the head. Is it staged or not? Look, I'm all for Trump. Absolutely. All right. Hate that comment or not, I don't give a shit. There's a few things that piqued my curiosity as being ex-forces and being on the private security industry for the last 12 years. So issue number one that I have with Trump getting shot in the head is that his hand comes to his head and not his head to his hand. And why is that important? Well, in a situation like that, and what I've seen in the past, when somebody gets shot and even what goes near them, the first reflex is to bring your head down to your hand, not your hand casually to your head. Number two,
as if you have something in your hand to smash on your face to make it look like you're bleeding.
Number two, I have a problem with his security. Well, after the shot was fired, two men jump on Trump, and then literally a minute after, you have three guys come on stage, tooled up, skylining themselves, exposing themselves on
As quick as possible. Not have like a team hug.
Would you do that? I believe not. Now, you might argue, well, they might have been told that the shooter was shot. Okay, well, what about a secondary shooter? Did anybody think about that? I believe so, because they're highly trained people. Number three, the exit was far too slow. What I mean by that? Well, they get Trump in the car, and then the woman sits with her shades on, standing next to the car for about 10 to 15 seconds before the car leaves. That wouldn't happen. Now, Trump, I do love you, and I do want you to take the power over Sleepy Joe. But I smell shite. Now, let's say it wasn't staged. What would be the motive to shoot in Trump right in the head? Well, number one, his opposition He's not controlled by the elite, so they want to take him out. Because he's not a puppet to the system. And the super rich wants to say...
Well, I'll disagree with that. Trump is a puppet to the system. He's a puppet to the Zionists.
Super rich, while they want to keep you as bottom feeders. Oh, number two, the population is sick and tired of being broke and the standards of living dropping every single day. And why is your living standards dropping down every single day? Well, guess what? They took the currency of the gold standard in 19... Government has been printing money on demand. Understand how supply and demand works. The more, and as they've been printing money and filling up their fat pockets like Vanguard and BlackRock, so they could get rid of that money to buy assets. They are hoovering up most of the assets of the world, but yet nobody gives a shit. And in the same time, they're devaluating your money and telling you the cause of everything rises in inflation, which is not true. Is your buying power going down? Well, about that situation, fuck all. But what you can do to leverage the situation is make more money. If your buying power goes down, what do? You make more money to counteract what's going on. The best way to do that is starting a side hustle selling digital products. A digital business which uses the same model as Uber, Airbnb, Credit Karma, Bankrate, NerdWallet. All these giants are earning not millions but hundreds of millions and even billions. And you know what they all have in common? None of them own any products. Zero. So you as a common man could leverage the same business model and start generating money in 7 days or less. Impossible. Well, if I given you a fully done for you business, which was built by a multimillionaire who's generating $520,000 in 5 days, I'll repeat that, 520,000.
I don't want to go off the topic, so I just want to get his input on that. Now we're going to go to someone else who has a opinion on this situation.
Out of my mind was a planned and coordinated attack on the president inside our government, our local agency, or police force. Here's why. My name is Matthew Murphy, and I am a retired Green Beret, retired from this Special Forces group, but I'm also a level 1 sniper, which means that I have graduated the highest level of training for snipers that you can do in special operations. We're trained, I'm going to avoid confidential or classified terminology. We're trained in assassinations and counter-assassinations for the very reason, case in point, yesterday, the shooting of President Donald Trump. So, first of all, anywhere the president's going to go, there are teams from the Secret Service that go out days, if not weeks, if not months, before the president will ever be at that spot. And they do a site security assessment. And they do that with the local police forces and agencies to ensure that every potential security threat or vulnerability is secured and, of course, protected against. Now, this is done way before Donald Trump will ever get there, and they know every place that the president will be, and the sniper team especially is responsible for ensuring that no one can take a shot at the president. Now, that does not mean that the sniper team just sets up with their guns and scans the crowd and shoots. No, what they do, the most important thing they do, pre-Donald Trump showing up, is within a 360-degree environment of that podium, of the president, they ensure that there is not a place that is open that will be accessible by someone with a rifle to take a shot at the president. So they make sure those places are barricaded off, inaccessible, and heavily guarded, so there is no way you are going to get to the place where you could even shoot the president with a rifle before the president shows up.
This is what I'm talking about. That space was open, literally given to that sniper to do what he wanted to do.
Then they scan the crowd and those places of the rifle just in case by some miracle you do. Now, you're not going to tell me, I don't care who you are, don't listen to the media, nonsense anyways, I think most of us know that by now, that some 20-year-old kid that looks like he played Dungeons and Dragons in his mom's basement is trained on a gun, especially a sniper rifle like that, is a registered Republican, and then can access anywhere near the vicinity of that crowd, of that event, with him not dressed in a uniform, and that's...
I'm sorry, but that it couldn't have been was it Thomas Max what is his name? Thomas Matthew Crooks, because he hates Trump. It didn't make any sense.
That sniper rifle. He was wearing American flag t-shirt and pants, and he had a rifle. You're going to tell me that that kid went through all this levels of security, somehow got into the closest building to the president, then accessed the rooftop of the closest building to the president, then had the time to unpack his rifle, lay down in the prone, and then take 5 to 8 well-aimed shots at the president before he was decisively engaged by the Secret Service's counter sniper teams or a local police department. I don't know who they were. Most likely police. You're going to tell me all that happened and a 20-year-old kid did that without it being heavily planned, coordinated, and people on the inside making it happen? There's absolutely no way possible that that kid was able to get up there and take those shots at the president without a lot of internal help. So someone in that local, or some people inside that local police department, agencies, or Secret Service is compromised and is a threat to our president. So we need to stop worrying about that damn shooter and start worrying about who allowed this shit to happen.
Where's the lie? Where's the lie? That's all I could say. You find me the lie about what he said. Okay. But I will say the fact of the matter is like, I'm sorry. I kind of think, he wasn't shot. Inside job, staged. Okay. It's so wild, man. Okay. Let's get on to the next one. Okay. I'll show it right here with he even says it. It's wild.
My name is Thomas Matthew Crooks. I hate Republicans. I hate Trump. And guess what? You got the wrong guy.
Said it just like that, like a 1990s conspiracy villain. Let's get into that. Saying, got the wrong guy. right. So here's this post. Okay. How many of you are falling for the psyop that the shooter was Thomas Crooks and not Maxwell Urich? If you compare the graphic photo of the shooter laying on his side with that of shots from Urich, you'll see the close gauge on his right ear. You'll notice the eyebrows. All right, the eyebrows from Crook and Urich are different. Their hair color and texture, the nose. I hate to be the one of those conspiracy theorists, guys. I mean, we all know just how often they're right about things, wink, wink, but this reeks of cover up to me. Actually, conspiracy theories are becoming conspiracy facts. You've seen images of Crooks with the underbite, whereas it is in the image of the dead gunman. You don't see it. Compare the thickness of the hair. This is simply not Crooks. So why cover it up? We know that Eric is confirmed on Antifa. Is this why they aren't telling us the truth? All right. I'm not going to show too much here when it comes to that. All right. Can't go a little too far into that because I don't want to get any problems with that. Okay. Even the mustache and the beard of the gunman match Urich, not any of these other guys. His lips are shaped the same way and nothing like the other men. Even the guy in the above video looks nothing like the young man in the Black Rock video. Their demeanors are different. They part their hair differently. Again, hair color and texture are different from one another. The size of the eyes in Urich and the gunman are the same. They have the same under-eye darkness bags. The earlobes are the same in size and proximity to the jaw. We're looking at Urich, the bloody image. This is simply not Crooks, nor is it the young man from the Black Rock video. I'm not sure who the man is in the profile with the underbite, but in my opinion, these are 4 different men we're talking about here, and only one of them looks like anything like the deceased gunman. Let me show you a picture of Maxwell Urich. This is also what they didn't tell, what we're finding out. Maxwell Urich was under FBI radar before he shot Trump. Maxwell Urich is the shooter who shot Trump. Former President Donald Trump was injured in a shooting incident at his campaign rally in Butler, Pennsylvania on Saturday, July 13th, 2024. Maxwell Urich, 30 of Perry South, who pleaded guilty in connection with a police altercation during an anti-Trump protest almost in 2016, had been sentenced to 3 to 12 months in the Allegheny County Jail. Urich returned to the United States in April 2024 after fighting for the Ukrainian army. That's probably where he learned his sniper skills. His facial features and ears are an exact match to the photos of the shooters, body released by the most honest and truthful FBI. But as you can see, yes, this is Urich. See, look at the face. This is him alive. This is him deceased. Maxwell Urich does look a hell of a lot like the sniper's body found on the roof. Even the slit in the lower earlobe on the body photos look like the earlobe in the mugshot. Mouth shape the same too. A now retired law enforcement official informed that Urich has earlier stalked a Hollywood actress and tailed her car after he was arrested and released a week later on bail. Many months ago, Maxwell Urich was reportedly involved in a violent Antifa protest in Seattle that involved bike clashes with law enforcement and property damage. He reportedly organized 500 protesters to the event. As a result of his actions, Pittsburgh Police Detective Saurav Chattery suffered minor injuries, and Pittsburgh Police Detective Michelle Ergers suffered a torn bicep, resulting in surgery and 6 months off work. This is the pedigree of Maxwell Urich, 30 years old, 5'10", 1.81 meters, weapon AR-15, voted for Hillary Clinton and Joe Biden. Okay. Troubles with law enforcement. When he was 17, Maxwell Urich's woes began with a burglary at a convenience store with surveillance footage allegedly showing him stealing cash and merchandise. Pittsburgh, PA police brutality protest. Urich joined a rally condemning police brutality, advocating for systematic reforms. He assaulted a police officer and an elderly woman who had MAGA sticker on her car. Washington, D.C. anti-Trump march. During a large-scale protest against then-President Donald Trump, Urick voiced opposition to administration policies. Portland, Oregon civil rights demonstration. Urick participated in a march advocating for civil rights amidst escalating tensions with counter-protesters. Seattle, okay. Anti-racism rally. At a rally against racial injustice, Urick's presence underscored solidarity with marginalized communities. However, reports say he tried to sexually assault a girl wearing a red shirt. Minneapolis George Floyd protests. Urick joined demonstrations demanding justice for George Floyd and incidents of property damage by rioters. Chicago, Illinois, anti-ICE protest. Urick protests against ICE policies reflecting widespread concerns over immigration enforcement. New York City, environmental activism. Engaging in environmental activism, Urick highlighted climate change issues during a peaceful protest. This guy was seriously a Democrat. Los Angeles, California, rights march. Urick supported women's rights at a march advocating for gender equality and reproductive rights. This is the time when he threatened Trump. Atlanta, Georgia, voting rights demonstration. Maxwell Urick participated in a protest emphasizing voting rights and access to democratic processes. Boston, Massachusetts, anti-white supremacy rally. Urick attended a rally denouncing white supremacy amidst clashes leading to property damage and arrests. This man was not a Republican at all. No way. The news was definitely 1,000% lying. All right. But let's get into some videos. All right, talking about this. All right. Yeah. Oh, 1 minute. Yeah. Yeah, this is good. Here we go.
Now, I am no stranger to attacks on this channel when it comes to videos being removed, subscribers being removed. Little word was triggering their censor bots. Everybody knows that I like to be in the comment section of my videos. I like to be very active in the comment section, so I was replying to comments. I must have received about 5 or 6 comments within seconds of each other, and I was replying to these comments. All of them were deleted back to back. I even had to leave a pinned comment on that video saying, YouTube is deleting comments left and right on this video like I've never seen before. Please
comment. And you say cover up?
Comment as much as possible to counter this. And many of you had said you noticed this as well. As you were trying to leave a comment on that video, they were either being deleted or YouTube would not allow you to comment. I was back and forth as to whether or not I should reach out to YouTube tech support, because generally if you have a problem with your channel, they'll run a diagnostic test. Luckily, I had taken a screenshot of this because I had held off until I started receiving errors trying to leave a comment on my own video. I received what is called a returned error trying to leave a pinned comment on the same exact video, and I have never received anything like this before. There had to have been about 200 comments deleted, if not more. Yes, I have seen comments being deleted from other videos, but there would be around like 5 to 10 comments deleted per those videos. But this time, YouTube went absolutely overboard. So I reached out to YouTube tech support because, like I said, what they'll do in these situations, they will send it off to a specialist to run a diagnostic check on the channel to see if there might be any glitches or bugs that are affecting the channel. Even with the screenshot in hand showing I was getting this error, YouTube tech Matthew Crooks, the man who supposedly fired the shots at Trump's rally, is starting to change. It's starting to slowly change. We were starting to hear the same old BS from people he went to high school with. Even though the man is 20 and finished high school about 2 years ago, they were interviewing people he went to high school with. Those people were given the same old responses when it comes to people involved in these very bizarre events. He was a loner who was bullied. He was bullied over his clothes. He was shy. He was quiet. He sat by himself during lunch. He had absolutely no friends whatsoever. Yet the narrative on Thomas Crooks is starting to slowly change. People in his high school knew him as an intelligent student who had a few friends, but who never exhibited any glaring red flags. I thought he was a bullied loner that sat by himself during lunch, but anyway, the nursing home where he had a job helping with meals said his work gave its staff no reason for concern. In all these stories where people cause these horrific events, you will find that there will always be these red flags that circle around these people. Oh, they were anti this, they were anti that. They spoke about this, they spoke about that. They were a pot boiling over, ready to explode at any moment. We ignored all the red flags. Yet, when it comes to Thomas Crooks, they cannot find anything on this man. They cannot find any red flags. So it seems like they were late in building up this perfect story. Something went wrong. Something got mixed up. I still do believe they mixed up Maxwell Yerrick and this man, Thomas Matthew Crooks. They were building up the perfect story for Maxwell Yerrick. They said he was a anti-Trump protester who was previously arrested at a Trump rally for assault. He also has other history of assault during other rallies protesting Trump. Maxwell Yerrick was supposedly being monitored. What tops everything else off is the fact there is a photo of Maxwell Yerrick deceased with a bullet wound grazing his face. He is also wearing a gray shirt in that photo. That person lying prone on the roof ready to fire at Trump does not look like Thomas Crooks. He looks more like Maxwell Yerrick. This person on the right lying prone ready to take the shot has a mustache that is similar to the outline of the mustache to Maxwell Yerrick on the left. How can anybody not see this? This person lying prone ready to take the shot on the roof is clearly Maxwell Yerrick. This is the photo of Thomas Matthew Crooks that news and media are circulating, saying this is Thomas Crooks at the rally prior to him getting on the roof and taking the shot at Trump. But if you look at his upper lip, you can barely...
So the real question is, since we know Maxwell Yerrick is deceased, where's Thomas Crooks? Where is he?
make out a mustache. Yet, take a look at the photo of the person lying prone on the roof. You can make out a mustache. That mustache is thick, is luxurious. Looking at Maxwell Yerrick's photo, look at his stubble. This is the kind of mustache that would grow on Maxwell Yerrick's face. Something is very, very wrong with this picture here. The person lying prone on the roof, he looks taller, he looks thinner. Thomas Matthew Crooks, he looks shorter, he looks stockier. Even his hair is similar to Maxwell Yerrick. I am telling you right now, and I'm calling this right now, they have both of these men mixed up when it comes to this narrative. What really screwed them up is when they said they ran blood tests on the suspect, and what came back was Thomas Crooks. They are so deep into this now, they are scrambling to put a narrative together for Thomas Crooks, who I believe they were going to use in another false flag event. Towards the end of the election, they were probably going to use Thomas Crooks for a school pow-pow event, if you know what I mean, and the whole narrative has now just gotten mixed up. Thomas Crooks' whole MO looks like it was put together, looks like it was built for somebody taking their revenge, their anger out on a school. Thomas Crooks, this bullied loner who sat by himself during lunch because he wore the wrong clothes, his background does not connect with him one day taking out the president of the United States. They know it makes absolutely no sense whatsoever. They know they messed up. So now they have to target these channels. They have to target people who are now asking questions. Major news channels are now warning the public about conspiracy theories and misinformation when it comes to Trump's rally. Where have we seen this before? They are trying to stop us from speaking out and asking questions, while at the same time they work on building up this narrative. There were people in my previous video in the comment section of that previous video saying they did not use Maxwell Yerrick this time because they already used Maxwell Yerrick in a previous event back in 2017. But the event they used him for was a anti-Trump agenda. They were building him up. They even have Maxwell Yerrick's death photo floating online, where it looks like he was indeed taken out by a sniper. Even the ears of that person in that photo matches Maxwell Yerrick. Some will say that, well, the person that was seen lying prone, ready to fire at Trump was wearing glasses.
Maxwell Yerrick was also seen wearing glasses in photos. Like I said, I just have the strongest feeling these two men were going to be used in two different agendas, and they mixed them up. Even the weapon Thomas Matthew Crooks used during the rally is a weapon you always hear used in a school pow-pow, an AR. Well, how did he afford the AR? How did he get it? His father gave it to him. This is the exact same narrative they used in all these previous school pow-pow events.
All right. That's what I'll do for now. That's basically it. I don't know what really to say here, but you tell me what you think. What are your thoughts? All right. So, like, share, comment, and subscribe. Let me know what you think about this. If you like donating to the Cash App, feel free to donate to the Cash App. Other than that, later.